Okay, in this video we're checking out the Tiny GT7 and GT8 from LDARC, and I'm going to be reviewing these together in the same video because they're pretty similar, just obviously the GT8 is a little bit bigger and has slightly different motors, obviously a little bit bigger props, but for the most part everything else is going to be the same, so I might as well just do everything in one video and talk about the differences between this one and some of the other whoops that we've seen in the 2S class. And so let's get right into it here. The GT7 is a 75mm motor frame, and it comes with a 1535 propeller, so it's a 1.5 inch propeller. The GT8 comes with a 88mm frame, so it's a little bit bigger, and it comes with a 1935 propeller, so 1.9 inch propeller. Motors are different here, so we have a I think it's an 0803. Yeah, it's an 0803 motor, 9,000 kV, and this is the one on the GT7, and the one on the GT8 is a little bit different. It's an 0804 at 7,500 kV, so slightly bigger stator, taller stator, but a little bit lower kV. They both only run on 2S. They both come with the same battery. It's a LDARC branded 380 milliamp hour battery. It's only a 50C, so it's not a super high C battery. It's proprietary. It's meant to fit in this little battery holder here on the frame. So if you use other batteries, then you're going to have to either modify this or come up with some other creative way of getting a battery in there. This frame is meant for this battery. There are spare parts, of course, for all all LDARC products. If you want to get extra batteries, I think they're $8 each. The thing that's different about this battery is that it just comes with the balance lead only, no discharge lead. So in order to charge these, they do include this little adapter. You plug this in here, comes with the balance lead and then a JST connector, so you can charge it on your hobby grade charger. It doesn't come with a charger in the kit, just the drones. You get the batteries. You do get some spare props, although they're in different colors. Smoky, I guess, charcoal color here on that's installed, and then red are the spares that are inside the box. I'm not sure why different colors there, but I guess that's what they wanted to go with. And I think for the differences between these two, that's pretty much going to be it. These are 2S only. If you plug in a 3S LiPo for whatever reason, well, not really possible, I don't think. But if you happen to try that and were successful to plug in a 3S LiPo, you're going to fry the board. The board is only 2S only. You can see that the connector here is only meant for that balance plug. Maybe they're doing that to reduce a little bit of weight. I'm not exactly sure. The boards on here are both the same, are the internal. So you got the same canopy, camera, video transmitter, flight controller, ESC combo board, and video transmitter. So you have the four motors that are soldered onto the 4-in-1 ESC and flight controller combo board. It's a proprietary board. It's a 10 amp BLS ESC, and the flight controller is based on the F3 SB Racing. I'm sorry, the SB Racing F3 Target. So it doesn't come with a native Betaflight OSD. It does come with an OSD that's on the video transmitter board, but it's some sort of proprietary OSD. And there's actually in the instructions, there's instructions on how to change the settings on the OSD, which is, I don't know, I did read it here. You can kind of go through the operating instructions. You have to hold the button down while you're turning it on, and the button for the video transmitter is on top here. It's the little button right here. So you have to hold that down while powering it on, and then you follow these little instructions here to go through and change your settings. Basically, the default settings, it shows the voltage. It's going to be in a per cell basis here. It's like 2S, and then your voltage up to 4.2 volts. And you have a pilot name, and you have a power on time. And I didn't really want to go through the procedure of changing the pilot name. That just seemed, I was reading this and it seemed like it was going to take a while to do that. So this is one of the things, I think this is one of the big downsides of this. It doesn't come with a Betaflight OSD. You can't change anything with your transmitter. You have to go through this ridiculous process here on this so-called smart OSD to change that. So maybe they'll come up with a new version with a Betaflight OSD. I don't know why they didn't choose that. It's kind of a big downside. The video transmitter on here is 25 milliwatts only, and it's 16 channels. So there's a chart here right there that shows the different frequencies. And then when you plug in the, you see there's a color code here for the different frequencies for the 16 channels. When you plug in a battery, there's going to be a couple lights right there. It's going to flash the first color, then the second color, and let me just go ahead and show you that. So you can see it's probably not going to come out too well on the camera, but it's a white and a blue. And in that case, that's the channel that I usually fly, which is 5860. So it's going blue then white here. And so you can probably just tune your goggle to whatever frequency you usually fly in these two bands. I think it's the A band and the F band. And then just cycle through the different frequencies one at a time until you get a clear signal. And this is the little antenna in the back here for the video transmitter. Go ahead and unplug this. And then both of these guys have the same receiver. It's called an AC900 receiver. It's that red one right there. Now the bind button is right here, so you have to hold that bind button down while you plug in your power, and then when you do that, the light that's on the receiver will start flashing rapidly green. And then after you go to your radio and bind the receiver, it should turn a solid red, I believe. And then when you power cycle everything, when you're actually bound and has a connection, it'll be a solid green light. Now there's other receivers available, I believe. Let's see here on the box, it says there's a no receiver version available. There's an RX2A Pro, which is FlySky, and then a DSM2 receiver version. So they have a FlySky, Spectrum, and then this AC900 is a dual mode receiver. It'll do Futaba FSHSS protocol and or the FreeSky D16 protocol, and out of the box it comes configured for the FreeSky D16 protocol. So if you want to switch it to the Futaba protocol, there's a procedure in the instructions and another separate sheet on the box. If you want to go through that, you can swap it over to Futaba, but yeah, most people are probably going to be flying Spectrum out of the box. Okay, so when you take a look at these two, they obviously fall in the 2S Whoop class. Everyone's going to be comparing this to, say, the Beta 75X. I'll bring that in here. Another popular 2S Whoop model, and of course the very popular Mobula 7. And you know, everyone's going to be wondering, well, where do these new models kind of fit in? So obviously the Mobula 7 and the 75X bit from Beta FPV, they're both 75mm along with the Tiny GT7. Obviously the one that's bigger here is going to be the Tiny GT8. Really, I think what comes down to is the differences here are going to be weight. So obviously the heavier you're going to go, I think you're going to get more durability, and I think that's what LDARC is going for here, is they're going for durability and toughness, and not necessarily for performance, because you know, like the GT7 here comes with an 0803 motor at 9,000 kV. It's kind of a low kV compared to the 0802 on the Mobula 7, and also the 1103 motor on the Beta 75X. So, you know, when you look at the flight demo, obviously these here are not really targeted for guys looking for performance. I think they're really targeting guys that are looking for durability, can handle lots of crashes, and that's the main difference here, I think, in terms of the frames and the weight. We'll get to the weight and all of these here in a second, compare that. But if you look at just the ducts, they're just super, they're very, very thick. And of course it's heavier and very, I mean, it doesn't bend at all. And so this kind of is like the lower level of the sort of the ET series, and I haven't actually reviewed this one yet, but I do have the ET115 version 2 here, and if you guys remember from that video, the ducts on, or the prop guards on the ET series are pretty much indestructible, and I was recommending this as a really good beginner acro flyer, and this has a lot more power. This is 3S. This video is coming out later. This is going to be obviously for outdoor flying only, maybe some larger indoor gyms perhaps, but this is going to be good for beginners because it's very, very durable. It's going to survive a lot of crashes. These ducts are going to keep the motors and props from breaking. You're only going to break this in a really, 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 really bad crash. And I think that is what LDARC is going for here with their Tiny GT series. They've gone for a much tougher canopy and a much tougher frame. I think that's one of the bigger complaints on the Mobula 7. I know that they are working on a updated, tougher frame that's going to survive crashes a little bit better. But in order to go for the lighter weight on this model, they sacrificed a little bit of durability on the frame. Yes, you can repair it and all that, but it is kind of a hassle to do repairs. And if you're one of those guys that would prefer less repairs, then you might want to check out something like the GT7. And if you even compare the frame of the GT7 to the Beta 75X frame, this one you can see here, this is a very durable frame. I mean, not as many people have broken this one. I haven't broken this one either. But you can see it's quite a bit more flexible. It's a little bit. This one obviously is lighter than the one on here. So I would think that this would be really good for people starting out and that want to maybe fly in areas that could cause more damage, maybe car parks, for example, where there's a lot of concrete, and you want to go fast, but don't want to do a lot of acro, because I don't think these are really that good for acro. Yes, in the flight demo you'll see some flips and tricks and that kind of stuff. It does do that, just because of the weight. It doesn't really float that much, so it's not really meant for that. I think it'll be fine for racing and, you know, some environments where you're going to have more potential damage if you hit something really hard, like concrete wall, brick wall, asphalt, those kind of environments. Something like this might be better for you in terms of those guys that want durability from the frames and want to keep on flying instead of having a bad crash and then ending their day. This one here is definitely going to outlast either the Beta 75X or the Mobula 7 in terms of durability, but it's not going to be as good in terms of performance. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some weight comparisons here. Let's just do all these 75 millimeters first, and this is the GT7 comes in at about 42 grams, and with the battery it's coming in at about 61.3 grams. And you guys want to know what the this is the Beta 75X with the Nanotech 300 milliamp hour 2S. This one with the battery is coming in at about 60.3. So this one is only 1 gram less, but this one has 1103 motors at 11,000 kV versus this one has 0803 motors at 9,000 kV. So the motors are definitely a lot smaller. So all the weight is going into the frame here for durability. And then if you look at the Mobula 7 here with the batteries, I think without the batteries in here it's like 28 grams. And it's 41 grams with the batteries, so huge difference in weight there. You know, it's 20 grams difference between these two with the batteries. And then if you look at the GT8, it's 49 grams, and then with the battery it's 68.3 grams. So this is going to be the obviously the bunch, but if you're looking for a little bit better performance, obviously the 1.9 inch prop is going to give you a little bit better performance. It's bigger, so it's going to be harder to hit gaps and stuff like that, but you know, it's still, you're looking at an 0804 motor here, so still not going to be as fast as the 1103 motors, I always say. So, you know, this one again, a little bit better performance than the GT7, and probably a little bit faster with a bigger prop and everything, but again, it is heavy. So this is really for people that are looking for you know, a lot of durability and be able to crash quite a bit without worrying about having to do repairs after every single crash. Anyway, I think that's enough of me rambling on about these two guys. I think I have given you guys a pretty good idea of where these are positioned in terms of relative performance and durability. Obviously, certain things that are lacking, I think, in my opinion, like the only 16 channel video transmitter, only 25 milliwatts, and the proprietary OSD. Stuff like that is kind of bothersome, and as well as the proprietary battery. Obviously, there's probably workarounds and mods you could do to get around that, but out of the box, this is how it came. Now, it did come with a PID tune for both of these, and I think it was the 341 for both of these, so it was okay. I mean, yeah, you know, it wasn't, I don't think they spent a ton of time on the tune, but it flew okay. There weren't any major oscillations or vibrations. I think they put a pretty conservative tune on there. I thought it flew fine. I didn't have any issues with flying it. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you some flight demo footage now. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.